next? Who next? Who next? Who next?
All right, y'all. This is a Jab Effect exclusive #Jab podcast. You can check that out on iTunes. Real quick, we just want to do a little who's next for one of the best pound for pound fighters in boxing today, Terence Crawford.
Yes, sir.
You know, since August, he set that record again, man. It's been like since 2005 since we had an undisputed champion.
Mm-hmm.
And since then, you know, he's vacated the belts because you know where he's ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
He's ready to make noise at 147. And like I told you, you know, this division, and like you told me, it's filled with lions, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know, nothing but the best. But right now, I feel like Keith Thurman, Errol Spence, they got some things to solve.
Yeah.
And I feel like them two need to hash it out.
I feel the same way. It's time, man. It's time. We don't have to take Terence Crawford and throw him in there with Errol Spence when nobody else wants to fight Errol Spence. He's just coming to welter. It was dynamics in welter before he came.
Mm-hmm.
Errol Spence and Keith Thurman, that dynamic was already there before he came.
It was
that
there.
needs to happen first, you know, and then we figure out what happens next once the smoke settles. But I agree with you on that. That needs that. That's already business, and
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because you know they were in the top 5 welterweight game. Yeah, like you said before, Terence Crawford, while he was still doing
At
his thing.
140, yeah, they were already.
Yeah, they were.
You know, this fight was already being, you know, made.
Yeah. So while they do their thing, there's some fighters that I want to see Terence Crawford fight until then. You know, until you know they hash it out and get their thing going. So one of the fighters I do want to see him fight is Jeff Horn. You know, Jeff Horn, he has a mandatory for his WBO belt. But one of the reasons I want to see that fight is just because I feel like that would be a good first fight for him at 147. Just to kind of break him in and just to kind of showcase people that, you know, this kid is strong. You know, he'll be going in there beating the guy that beat the man, you know, Pacquiao.
Mm-hmm.
And I just feel like, you know, that fight was close, but I feel like that's one of the names that he needs on his record to kind of say this kid's gonna make noise at 147. And another reason I feel like he needs that fight is because, you know, they're both top ranked, and the fight, if it comes on ESPN, it's gonna do numbers. Because, you know, the Ndongo fight and Crawford fight did like 1.13 million.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Pacquiao Horn fight did like 3 million.
Yeah.
So if you put them two together, you know, debuted at welterweight versus Jeff Horn for a belt, you know, that could just build bigger numbers for him. Of course, we know skill wise, Crawford, he's here.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and Horn is down here. But I just feel like that would be a good first fight for him. You know, just to kind of shake up the other guys and make them, you know, be on lookout.
All right. I mean, I can respect that and feel that, and I feel like I like what he did by saying he was moving up to 147 and called out Errol Spence, all the big names. I like how he did that. I think that kind of spooked these guys at 147 because you haven't even fought at 147 yet, and you calling out the baddest man at 147. I honestly feel like it's anybody in there he can come in there and really, really, really make a statement with. You know what I'm saying? Well, even if he was to lose, nobody's in there. Nobody at 147 is gonna wash this kid.
No.
You know what I'm saying? They ain't gonna wash him. I mean, he might take a loss, but nobody's gonna wash him. So business wise, the Horn thing makes a lot of sense. Top rank. Terence Crawford, he's getting the fan base. He doesn't have a huge fan base. This guy Horn is from what, Australia?
Australia, yeah.
So he has a huge Australian fan base. So from the business standpoint, the belt on the line, you know, putting him in there with another person that, you know, has a fan base, and the thing, that's the weird part about it. And Horn has a fan base out of Australia. We don't even know him here. Nobody cares about him here, to be honest. You know what I'm saying? But business wise, he does have that overseas fan base, which would, you know, do some numbers, you know, with Terence Crawford. That, you know, if they came together and fought, of course, Terence Crawford would wash this kid, and it's kind of almost like it's a waste of time, man. Now, I agree with you saying I'm not disagreeing, but it's kind of like.
But you got to think too. The one thing this fight might do for Terence Crawford is exposure if it goes to Australia. If they do the fight in Australia, and then that would kind of get him that big. It would kind of help him build. It would build him up mentally. Like, I'm up against Australia. I'm not just up against Jeff Horn. I'm against. So I got to make sure I'm on that A game.
And that's what I say. Like, from a business standpoint, I think that's an awesome thing. But it's like, I mean, Danny Garcia ain't gonna do nothing. I mean, Keith Thurman ain't really gonna do nothing. Jeff Horn definitely ain't gonna do nothing. It's like, you know, I mean, one of the toughest fights
that
might
was my
be
second one, Danny Garcia. But we'll keep going.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I mean, I feel like Horn is the right thing to do right now, and it is the right thing to do. But I feel like Terence Crawford is so talented and special that he could take on any of them guys, and it's going to be the same result. I don't really see him needing the, you know, somebody to hold his hand in the 147 as opposed to how, you know, Andre Ward took 2 smaller fights because that was a big jump for him.
Yeah,
you know
light heavy is different than welterweight.
It was a big jump for him. But I'm just saying, from the business standpoint, the Horn makes the most sense. And trust me, I wasn't with that fight. I'm like, man, this dude. But when you break it down business wise,
because like
it makes sense. You know,
like when you're a fan of a fighter and you want to see them do good, you kind of think of them. You kind of think of it as like you're the manager. You're like, oh, let me see what kind of choices I like to see Crawford make. You know, so I'm like, at least get something in there where you can get some exposure. You know, like 'cause I know that the Spence fight, those fights will come. You know, especially whenever you ain't talking around the question. You saying I want Spence and I want Thurman.
You call it. I mean, because I look at it like this too, Ant. Terence Crawford is just as big as Earl Spence. Earl Spence ain't big. He ain't got no big fan base. He probably almost just as big as a Danny Garcia. Danny Garcia ain't got no big fan base. Keith Thurman might got the biggest fan base out of all those guys at welter right now. Just because he's articulate, he's different. You know, he has been winning. His fan base might be dropping because of what's going on now. Him, you know, playing the game with Earl Spence or whatever. But I just feel like this kid is so gifted. He could come in at 147 and make his mark with anybody. It's not going to make a difference how you slice it. If you do the easiest the first or the hardest the first, I don't feel like skill wise it's going to make a difference. But of course, it's a sport and it's a business. We have to be smart and do it a business way. And that's why I think, you know, Horn would be the first thing. But it's like he's going to run through Horn. Then who's going to doing the dance with him next after that?
You know,
Danny Garcia, you see how he don't really like the dance.
And that's what I was, that's why I was kind of going to Danny Garcia. See, with Garcia, he would be another fight for exposure too. Cause, you know, Danny Garcia with PBC, you know, he's known to pull in $3 million a fight. But, I would like to see that fight just cause his choice of words about Crawford, you know. How he was like, Crawford hasn't really beat anybody to be considered pound for pound versus the guys I beat. But you got to think Crawford was beating undefeated guys same age as him in his age range.
Exactly.
Which is a question. Which is more impressive, beating guys your age that are just as hungry as you are or fighting old men?
Come on, you know what it is. Yeah. We already know what Danny Garcia doing.
I know Morales is dangerous. I know Khan can be dangerous, you know, but come on, Morales. Yeah. Morales already been washed out by Pacquiao like twice.
And Eric Morales was actually landing some shots on this dude. And if he might have been a couple years younger, he might have knocked Danny out because Eric Morales used to have some power.
He had power.
You know? So I'm just saying, like, dude, who I would really want to see, I would really like to see him first, Danny Garcia, knock him out the way, Thurman, and then Spence. Now, these guys, it's business at 147 before he gets there. So these guys have to hash out certain business before he shouldn't come in and just get the sweepstakes. And, you know, so the Horn thing just makes sense for a lot of reasons. He's kind of the lowest guy at 147. You know, you're the newest guy at 147. You know what I mean?
And once you think about it too, like, let's say one of the other guys felt that the Crawford fight didn't make sense, so they tried to avoid it, you know, for whatever reason. If Crawford gets that other belt, he becomes a target.
It's more leverage.
They want to be undisputed. That other belt Crawford's going to have, so they got to remember,
They claim they want to be undisputed.
They claim they want to be
claim,
undisputed.
We see who wants to be undisputed. Who's undisputed right now?
Crawford.
Terence Crawford.
Crawford took him.
We see.
At his
Okay,
weight,
that's what I'm saying.
Now he's ready to come back. Yeah.
You know what I mean? These people say they want to be undisputed, but do they really want to be undisputed? Bud talk the talk and walk the walk already. It's done already.
Right.
He's done already. That's off his list. I'm already unified in one way. So what's up? That's what I'm saying.
That's the thing too. Like,
some of these guys are just talking, and
look,
you know,
and some guys want to just be unified versus undisputed. Because unified, you could pick and choose and maybe do two, 3 belts. But if you want all 4, 5, whatever it is, you got to get everybody.
Yeah, that's the much harder and much more premier accomplishment, ain't? Mm-hmm. You know, you can unify a couple of belts, but to be undisputed, that's what the sport is based on, man. Yeah. Undisputed. You know what I mean?
Taking everybody out.
Taking everybody out, proving that you are the best at whatever particular weight class. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I just feel like when I look at 147, it is lines there, but I don't see any of them to make me feel like, dang, man, they way above.
I know that.
They way above, but I don't see that, I don't see that.
And that's the thing that I was going to say. Something you told me is that we talk about all of these big dogs and these lions in the game, but there's one thing Crawford has over all of them is skill.
Skill, dude.
You know, there's something about his skill when you're watching him. There's the way he adapts, the way he's adjusting the fighters, the way he's keeping his cool, the way he can close the show, box, punch. You get a mix of all of that.
All of that, dude.
When you watch these other guys in the welterweight division, I ain't taking away from them, but there's like certain things you pinpoint out. You know, there's certain things you pinpoint with Spence, Thurman, Porter. Of course, you know Spence. He's still coming up because he's young.
Yeah.
Well, Thurman, anyway, he's same age, but he claims to be in a more comfortable stage. But you know, Thurman, but Spence, he's kind of like growing.
Right.
You can see the growth in him, but Crawford, he, like I always say, he has a gift,
dude. Even that's what I'm saying. Everything this kid does. He's not in social media in a bad light. You know, when you see him social media, he's with his kids, he's with his wife. Just the way he presents himself, I respect that a lot, being a family man. The way that he became undisputed at 140, you know, cleaned out the division. And then the way he's even approaching 147, and okay, Danny Garcia was at 140. He went to 147. Did you see a difference in his body? He got bigger. He didn't get shredded. He didn't get the way. Even when I seen this guy, Terence Crawford at 147, is letting me see that he's serious about this.
He's serious, man.
When your body, you know, he could have just threw on fat and had rolls. When you go up a weight class and you still look exactly the same. I mean, chiseled a little bit more. I mean, that just speaks volumes. And I mean, just the way he's doing everything he's doing. I like it. And it proves that he's special. Like I say, I mean, him calling out Earl Spence, that could have just been, you know, a ghost card, just to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the mental impact that it would have, it sent a message, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The dude, I ain't even scared of the baddest dude in y'all division, so you know I ain't scared of you.
Because we never know, like, that guy, Spence, you know, the guy he calls out might lose the belt, you know, but he's just letting you know that's just who I'm at.
That's what I'm saying. Even if he knew that, man, I know it's a fight ain't gonna happen for years, but I'm gonna just go ahead and throw it out there. It's still the mental, you know, capacity to have that thought in your mind and say, I'm gonna throw this out there. Ain't nobody calling out Earl Spence. Nobody, ain't.
It wasn't like, who do you want next, Crawford? Then Crawford's like, well, you know, I got to talk to so-and-so.
Yeah, I got to talk to my management.
What do you think about fighting Spence where, you know, we got to do this and that. Exactly. And there's these red tape and all this. No, he said Spence was who he wanted. So
who he wanted. And so, and that's what I'm saying.
And we know to get to Spence, you got a tough road.
Yeah.
And so we know what he's after. What about Sean Porter? I meant to ask you about that.
What?
Sean Porter versus Crawford.
That's going to be, to me, this is my opinion, and that's going to be one of the toughest fights for Crawford. I think that's going to be tougher than Earl Spence.
Think so?
I think so.
Think the activity?
I think the activity, the mauling style, the fact that he's really a bigger man who's coming down to a smaller size, I think all of that is just creates a storm for a guy to deal with. You know what I mean? I mean, I'm sure Terence Crawford has the skills to beat him, but it's just such Sean Porter has such a crazy style, and then he's getting better and better every time. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I see that. Like Earl Spence, he's getting better, but we don't see him fighting. Thurman, we don't see him fighting. Danny Garcia, we don't see these guys fighting, man.
Yeah.
We don't see these guys fighting, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Okay, some of it is their fault. Some of it is not their fault, but we don't see these guys fighting, man.
So yeah, like we could say some is politics, but some of it is wanting to fight once a year.
Yeah, that bull crap.
Choice.
Okay, you know? why Terence Crawford ain't going through all them politics? And he was fighting on the regular. He was able to unify all the belts, become undisputed champion. What was holding him back from being active, man? You know, it's if you want it. These people, they get a little bit of money and fame, and they really feel like they made it and don't really want it, man.
Yeah.
To me, they don't really want it. Terence Crawford has proven that he wants it. Deontay Wilder is proving that they want it, you know, in my eyes.
I think that every fighter, too, that's shown that they're a complete fighter to me, they always had some type of list where this is what I'm gonna do. It might not always go through the way you want it, but they always have some type of who's next type list. You know what I mean? They're like, this is who I got to get to. I'm gonna go through him because I want to be this champion. Because
this is what's keeping me from getting. I have to take this out. Some guys will say, "Oh, this wall right here. I'm gonna just make a left. I'm gonna make a right.
Right.
They ain't gonna go through the wall." Terence Crawford said, "I'm gonna go through this wall to get
this
to
guy.
the next side." You know what I'm saying? That's the difference, man.
Yeah.
From my perspective, you know what I mean? That's the difference from those guys. I mean, those guys, they sitting up there being inactive. This dude is cleaning out divisions, moving up and calling out the boogeyman of your division. Well, I mean, who's doing that, Ant? Who is doing that?
Nobody in the top 5. It says Spence's name, you know.
I'm saying, but nobody's doing that, dude. So this little guy at 140 is doing that.
Yeah.
And I'm going to keep supporting him and riding with him to the end, because I love it, man. I love it. I love people say, "Well, dang, he's sure calling about Spence." All right, even if he ain't, he did it. Even if he ain't, he did it.
He did it because
you know what I'm saying?
he's the type of fighter too. Like we say, like he doesn't do all the talking, but like when he posts something up, when it's fight time, you know it's serious. Like when he posted up the picture of him growing into 147, man, and making that weight, you're like, damn, he's serious.
Exactly.
Like who's this next guy he's gonna fight?
Look at it. You got Keith Thurman, who's the champ at 147. He won't even commit to the fight. Here's a dude who ain't even in the rank, ain't even in the 147 rankings yet. And he's willing to come in. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Nobody's doing that, man. I'm sorry, nobody's doing that.
Do you think we'll see Crawford Spence before we see Thurman Spence, man? From the way
I hope not. I hope not, because I like they got unfinished business, and I like to see business handle that business and give this man the winner. Or I mean, depending on what happened. I mean, anything can happen. He could lose the horn. He might not deserve the winner, but those guys need to hash that business out. And see, that's the thing too, Ant, is business that needs to be hashed out first before you can really say who Terence Crawford deserves to get. To me too. That's another thing too. I mean, he don't deserve the winner of something, but he might deserve the loser. Of something. You know, off the break. You know what I mean? He might deserve the loser off the break. I'm not saying these guys have to fight him, but I think he could deserve. You know, it's business that needs to be handled at 147, and then you can say, okay, well, those guys fought, this is the loser. Those guys fought, this is the loser. Okay, with Terence Crawford, this would be a good fight for him. You know that. You know what I mean? So it's unfinished business at 147. Regardless of Terence Crawford, before he even get there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and like we're saying, there's always a road for him there, because there's always guys there.
It's full,
especially
dude.
Say if Horn is your first fight, after you take Horn, like you said, there's a Thurman Spence loser.
Yeah.
You know, he could take them on, or if Garcia ever wants it, there's always a guy there to fight that's going to lead to something bigger.
And to be honest, I mean, Porter and Thurman comes before, you know, Bud fighting one of them. I mean, they fought once. It was a close decision. I feel like Sean Porter, he's been being active. He's looking back. I think he's more
get that
in the rankings, for Thurman.
Well, he is actually.
You know,
he is actually, because that was another thing they were talking about with Keith Thurman. You know, he was catching flack because he said that Spence ain't on his to-do list.
Yeah, till 2019.
To 2019, because he has to take this fight. More than likely, he gonna fight Devin Alexander. And then he's going to take on Sean Porter in like the summer. You know, so that's 2 fights this year coming to 2018, and then I don't know.
Come on, man. Come on. You taking off on Devin Alexander, a guy who just got but Devin Alexander is more worthy than Terence Crawford. A man who just got out of rehab off of opiate addiction and just came back.
Yeah.
But Terence Crawford ain't did nothing for you to face him. But Devin Alexander's, come on, man.
And that's the thing.
It's a joke, man. It's a joke.
Yeah, that's what makes it seem like a joke. Because, okay, whenever they asked Thurman the time he was sitting next to Spence, they asked him, they said that, what do you think of Terence Crawford? You know, he said Terence Crawford needs to prove himself to be a credible welterweight. So he's a soft touch then, right?
That's what I said. Okay, that's a soft touch. Go ahead and eat it.
You want to fight Devin Alexander, who's a soft touch. Why not take the name with the soft touch?
Exactly.
That just moved up, you know?
Think about it. Which name is going to hold more weight if you wash it, man? The Devin Alexander guy fresh out of rehab. And then the thing about it is, he ain't guaranteed to wash Devin Alexander. I mean, Devin Alexander, I mean, he didn't look terrible the other night. I mean, he was in the mix.
He looked good for coming back.
Yeah,
and, you know,
coming back off of rehab.
And like,
he was in shape. In shape, you know what I'm saying? I mean, so...
And that's what I say, much respect to him for coming back and looking good. That's why I feel like, for him, I think he should, however long he plans to stay in the game, you know, I don't know if he should jump in there with the Thurman for his sake yet, you know.
I mean,
if he wanted to check her, I don't know how it's going to go, but I just feel like, you know, that was a good stepping stone for him. And for him to try to use him as like a stepping stone, call him a soft touch is kind of...
It don't, and like I said, I be basing stuff on reality and logic. That don't fit into neither one of those categories. You saying one guy ain't worthy, but a guy who just came out of rehab is worthy. Why?
Yeah.
Explain why he's more worthy. What does he prove? We haven't seen Devin Alexander since when?
Can't even say.
Fighting. At least Terence Crawford, he was fighting in a different division.
Yeah.
He was. What was Devin Alexander? And I'm not knocking him, man. He went through a personal situation and had to step away from the game and do what he had to do. You know, we commend him for doing that and coming back.
But we got a game guy in Crawford who is supposed to be this guy coming up, you know, making noise. So you're supposed to send him back packing, you know?
That's like I said, and if these guys are soft touch, prove it.
Yeah,
wash him out and scratch him off the list.
Yeah, don't let him build himself up.
Expose him.
Yeah, don't let him get stronger.
It just doesn't make sense to me, Ant. You know what I mean? Devin Alexander, you thinking that, you know, and to me, he's looking at that like that's an easy touch. Oh no, I'm gonna hop on this. He just came back, and that could very well go bad for him.
Yeah, it
could go bad for him, man, because those things happen in boxing. People think, oh, this is a soft touch, and they go in there, and guess what? It was a hard touch.
Because you got to remember, Devin Alexander, he's never been stopped before.
Right.
And you know, he's a left-handed fighter. You know, he's giving a lot of guys tough fights.
Oh yeah.
And think about Maidana.
Yeah, and think about it too, and coming back off this, he might feel like this is my second chance. That's what was hindering me before, dude. I was kind of strung out on pills. I'm back. I'm healthy now. I'm focused. We don't know. We don't know, man. We don't know. But I wouldn't look at him as like a soft touch. I mean, the only soft touch up there, the softest touch, it probably would be Horn, and he ain't a walk in the park. You know, I mean, the dude is scrappy.
Yeah,
he definitely scrappy.
That's the thing
he Australian. You know he tough as hell.
Yeah.
You seen Anthony Casitas, the last Australian fight. They tough guys.
They tough, man.
But he's probably the softest touch at 147.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be, you know, for me personally, that's why I just felt that was a good fight for Crawford. You know, definitely wanted to fight. Horn, Garcia, or any of the other guys. Porter. I would have said Manny before, just because I felt that would have been the exposure fight, but
he guaranteed to wash Manny now.
Yeah, he's guaranteed. Because I mean, right now, Manny, he was calling out Conor McGregor. So that shows you where his mind.
Him and De La Hoya calling out Conor McGregor. You know what I'm saying?
So let us know in the comment section here. Let us know who you want to see Terence Crawford in there with, and do you think Crawford will fight Spence before Thurman? That's a question, man.
Yeah,
for real. But yeah, make sure y'all subscribe to the YouTube channel, Jab Effect. We signing out.
All right.
Peace.